Yo, Elephant Man Podcast Network, Grown Men Conversations dealing with elephants in the room. It's your man DB. Subscribe, like, share on YouTube, Facebook coming soon. Yo, I want to get right to it, man. My brother, shout out to my brother Thi'sl Tyler, better known as Thi'sl, well-known recording artist, gospel rap recording artist from the St. Louis area, same area, with Jay. Uh, Flame, JR, and many. Oh, Jason from that area. So my man just recently was just venting. He put a video out saying it's time to get off of the Evangelical plantation, and it stirred up a lot of controversy. I'm gonna let you watch it for yourself. It's very interesting, but check it out.
We popping. We got numbers going. Let's share it with some people real quick. Share it with some people. Couple more numbers. Hop on, and I'm gonna start going, and y'all keep sharing it with people. But I wanted to come on here and address this post that I just put up when I said black Christians. It's time to lead the evangelical plantation. I said what I said. I meant what I said. I'm not gonna change what I said because I meant it, and I'm about to tell you why. So first of all, I saw a post today. This ain't even the entire premise of what I'm talking about. So I saw a post today with a dude, this white pastor. I'm gonna use color words. This white pastor, he put this post up yesterday. I actually saw it yesterday. I saw it again today on one of my friends' page. This white pastor, he made a post with a sermon that he did, and he's on this sermon talking about that people that say they are woke and that are committed to the idea of wokeness need to be excommunicated from the church. Now, let me tell y'all that don't know what excommunication means. Excommunication basically means I'm putting you out. You got to go, right? Now, he's sitting here and he say all of this different other stuff. It's going to be heartbreaking and it's going to be this and it's going to be that. But at the end of the day, you just said what you said. So when I put up the post today, that was one of the things that was fresh on my mind because I just sat here and watched this man say that people who are defending this idea, he's saying that they need to be straight kicked out of the church. Basically, you're not even a Christian. You're so far gone. You've been taken over by this idea that you aren't even worthy of fellowship with me no more, right? Now, the problem is this. All of this other stuff that's going on and all of these people that's saying all of this other crazy stuff that he see happening, you've never been compelled to say nothing about nothing else. But all of a sudden, when black people, majority, and who's the dominant number and who he's talking about, when black people feel like that they have a problem with something, now you want to say something. Let's just break down some facts that listen, y'all see the way I post. I post unapologetically. It ain't because I'm big, bad, and tough. It ain't because I feel like I can whoop everybody. It ain't because I feel like ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me. But once I believe what I believe, I'm gonna say what I believe. And that's just the bottom line to it. So I'm unapologetically posting. Like, I'm not posting to convince people. I'm not posting to try to make you see how I see life. I'm posting talking to my tribe. I'm posting talking to the group of people that agree with me, that are like-minded, that want to lock in and see things get changed. Those are the people I'm talking to. So what I say make you mad, then that's something you got to deal with in yourself, because I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Now, the bottom line is this. I personally feel like black people, like how people say you've been in a bad relationship and you need some time to yourself, you need to go work on yourself. I feel like black people need some time to ourselves. We need to pull back from everything and everybody that's going on, and we need to focus on our own community and our own issues and focus on getting to the place that we are able to function as a collective and as a community without somebody feeling like they have something to hold over our head to keep us in place. That goes for the Democrats, that goes for the Republicans, that goes for the white evangelical church, that goes for anybody that feels like they have enough space in this world that they can dictate what we do, because if we don't do what they want us to do, they're going to take away what we got. Now, when I said that about the white evangelical church, people probably freaking out like, oh my gosh, how you saying that about Christians? I'm going to be 100 with y'all. Everybody sitting in the church ain't Christian. Everybody that know the Bible, not Christian. Like we seen for years in history, people that were slave owners, people that contribute to the mass genocide of Native Americans. We see all of this stuff in history. Some of them people were professing Christians. They were people that professed to know the Lord. And at the end of the day, when I read the Bible and I see the scriptures, people that know the Lord, they act a certain way. You're going to make mistakes. You might do something crazy, but I'm not going to sit here and say I know Jesus and go kill 2 million people. I'm not going to sit here and say I know Jesus and enslave 400,000, 200,000, 300,000 people. I'm not going to sit here and say I know Jesus and rape and murder men and women by mass numbers. I'm not going to sit here and say, you can't tell me you know Jesus. So some of these people, let me tell y'all something, man. Let's talk about some real facts. America, the country that we live in, y'all can sit around and try to make y'all self-believe this delusion that you want to all day, that America is this God-fearing, Christian-loving country. But America is just like any other country in this world. There are wicked people that live there. There are evil people that live there. And we have a history that is drenched in the blood of slaves and Native Americans that we choose to act like don't even exist. Like, I ask people this question all the time when we get to talking. Where all them KKK hoods at? Where they go? You know how you be rambling through your basement or your people's house years after they dead and gone, and you find stuff and you looking and you doing all of that? Man, where all these KKK hoods at? How many people done dug through their grandma and their granddaddy basement and they done found these hoods? They done found these pictures. Do y'all know how many people that live in our country have been raised by racists to think the way that they think and act the way that they act? So why are we going to pretend like this stuff don't exist? We live in a complex world. This ain't no simple eeny, meeny, miny, mo, pick one thing or the other and we just choose to hold it. It's complex and we're going to have to deal with it in a complex manner. So when I say we need to leave the evangelical plantation, that's exactly what I mean. And let me tell you why. I done been behind the curtain of a lot of things that go on in church. I done been in a church where a white woman walked up to me and asked me, can I go break in her car because she locked her keys in there in front of a room full of other white people and didn't nobody say nothing. Nothing. And then one of them had the nerve to tell me, oh, man, just ignore her. That's how she is. Yeah, that's how she is. You know why she like that? Because she's lived in a country so long that she's been allowed to think that black people are all a certain way and we're not. And for the white people too, let me tell y'all something. When people start talking about racism, if it boils your blood and you get upset and you get mad and you like, well, I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist. I like black people. If you're not a racist, then be quiet. When people start saying stuff like, oh, black people are all thugs and criminals and they shoot. I be sitting there like, because I ain't a thug, I ain't a criminal, I know what I am. If you ain't a racist, then why are you talking? Let us do the work that needs to get done. If you're not if I call you a thief and you're not a thief, why you gonna get mad? If I call you a pedophile and you're not a pedophile, why you gonna get mad? If I call you anything in the world and you're not that, why are you gonna get mad? If it's not you, then it's not you. I just saw a dude on a post I was talking on, and he gonna say, well, I put this up. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. I ain't trying to put words in his mouth. I put this up because someone asked me the other day to apologize for being white. Listen to me. Don't nobody want you to apologize for being white. They're white people. You're not at fault for what your ancestors did to my ancestors. And when I say ancestors, I ain't talking 200 years ago. My family moved off a plantation in City, Mississippi in the 80s. The last one of my family members moved off of there in the 80s. I was born on a plantation. My birth certificate says Negro right now. I was born on a plantation with nothing but cotton fields and houses that looked like they were off Rosewood. So when my cousin had to leave there and come to St. Louis because the landowner, the slave owner wanted to kill him, this in the 80s. So we ain't talking about no 200-300 years from now. When I say ancestors, I'm talking about my grandmama. My grandmama picked cotton till she was 9 months pregnant with every one of her kids. My granddaddy worked the field, drove tractors. My mama picked cotton. My uncles picked cotton. My aunties picked cotton. All of my cousins picked cotton. So we ain't talking about far distance, right? But if that ain't true, then why you gonna say something? Now, the problem is this when it comes to Christianity. When I say it's time for us to leave the plantation, this is what I mean. Like when God does something in people's lives, he does something to them that's genuine. He shapes them in a way that they can function and maneuver in the place that they are. When black men, I've seen this for myself for years. When black men come into the space of white evangelical Christianity, most cases, now, you got some genuine white Christian brothers and sisters. Genuine, 100%. I never say everybody's racist, just like I never let everybody say all black people are thugs. But in most cases, when black men come into these spaces, you know what they start doing to us first? They try to change us on the outside. They try to change how you look. They try to change how you behave. And if you don't assimilate to the way that they think that you should act, guess what? You're going to get that opportunity took away from you. I know somebody right now that was going through a preaching program with a church plant, and they cut him out the program because they said he was too emotional. We different from y'all. We think different. We act different. We love different things. I shouldn't have to come into church and leave everything behind that's a part of my culture. Everything in black culture is not evil. Like, you'll never make me believe that. Everything not evil. I don't have to come listen to contemporary music if I don't want to. Like, I shouldn't have to. I drink coffee on my own. If I didn't drink coffee, I don't have to drink coffee with you. I don't want a flannel. I don't want a flannel. I don't want none of the stuff that comes along with it. I want to be myself. I want to walk up in church. If I walk up in church and I got dreads, I got tattoos, I got braids, I got whatever I got, I want to walk up in church and I want the Lord to do something in me on the inside, and I want him to send me back into the community the same way that I am on the outside, but on the inside I'm different. But when you walk into these establishments and you go into these environments, they try to change us so much that when you go back into the hood and you go back to the place that you come from, they don't even recognize you, not because of how you think or how you believe, but because you ain't even the same type of person no more. And that's intentional. That's intentional. That's not a by chance, by circumstance type thing. That's intentional. I want to see these young boys walk off the street and walk up into a church, and they walk up in there and he walk back out of there a whole new person on the inside, but he's still the same person on the outside. Like, he look, he talk, he walk, he feel just like he did when he was outside, but he different on the inside. That's the goal. But you want us to assimilate. And if we don't assimilate, guess what? We not worthy. We get cut off. We get kicked out. Let me tell you something else why I say it's time for us to leave the white evangelical plantation. I done sat in church plant meetings before and saw a map, right? Of St. Louis. Map. They got a map up. And they like, this year, we want to plant these many churches. There aren't any churches in these areas. I'm from St. Louis. I'm sitting there looking at the map. I'm like, such and such church right there. Friendly Temple right there. This right there. That church right there. This over there. That's over there. This over there. I'm like, it's 100 churches around here. But it's not the kind of church that they think is worthy of their endorsement. And most of those churches that were there, the people that I saw talking, I'm not going to say they're racist because I know them, but most of the churches that were there, they were all black churches. It's like they don't even exist because it's not what you want to endorse. It's not what you want to do. A dude just hopped on my post, and when I posted the post with just the words, he hopped on there and he put, oh, so what we want to do, what you want us to do if we leave from here, what we going to do, go to TD Jakes and Creflo Dollar. First of all, I love TD Jakes. I'll tell anybody that. That's flat out. Like, period. Like, I love him. Practically, he's one of the most amazing people in the world. Like, I don't have to agree with everything that he does. Like, but he has an understanding of how to speak life into people, which some of y'all don't know how to do, right? So he say, what we supposed to do, turn him and turn him? I said, I'm glad you posted this because you just made my point. You personified my point. You just literally sat here and said that out of all the black Christians in America, there are no black men or women qualified to lead and teach black men and women. So we are forced to stay under circumstances where we have to assimilate and leave behind our whole culture in order to even seem like we're Christian. Come on, man. How you gonna say that? We got Tony Evans. We got Eric Mason. We got Tony Evans. We got Tabiti. We got Flame. That's just 4 people. I could keep going and go. We got Ambassador. I could keep going and going and going and going and name people all day long. And you know who else we got? We got young black boys out here in the street that God has a call on their life and he's put something in them that needs to come out, and we need them to be able to go into a space that they can be able to grow and be groomed and don't have to assimilate with a culture that feels like their culture is the best thing. That's how slavery happened. That's how slavery happened. World domination. It was one group of people that sat back and said, we know how all of y'all should think and live. So what we're going to do, we're going to force you to live and think the way that we do. That's how slavery happened. No, I will not assimilate to nobody's rules. I will not feel like I'm less of a believer because I don't want to act and think the way that you do. That's crazy. It's time for black people to pull away from everything. I'm just going to be 100 with y'all. This whole election process, the first thing people jump on and say, oh, you sound just like a liberal. Well, let me tell y'all something. I'm really not a liberal. I'm really not. I'm going to tell y'all something else. I like Donald Trump way better than I like Joe Biden. Let me tell you what I hate about Donald Trump. I hate, because first of all, y'all got to understand this politics is politics. They all crooks. That's bottom line. They all crooks. Every one of them. All the way down the line to your local people. They all crooks. So get that out of your head that one is a crook and one is not a crook. They all crooks. What I hate about Donald Trump is he speaks rhetoric that's so reckless and dangerous in a country that has people laying in the shadows that think like he think, people that are really about that life, people that will really will militarize their thoughts and start killing people. He speaks to them in a way that's so reckless in order to get them to vote for him that he empowers them and makes them believe that the way that they feel is the right way to feel. So therefore, if you are not a racist, sir, you are a person that empowers racists. So therefore, it makes you an affiliate to racist activity. So you are to a racist. If you empower the racists without taking the power away from them, you're a racist. That's what I hate about Donald Trump. Other than that, what you want to argue? Facts? Has he done a lot of stuff for the black community? Yes. Has he done a lot more than a lot of other presidents for the black community? Yes, he has. But at the end of the day, it's all politics. So I don't know what he's doing because he genuinely want to do it or because he want our vote. Because if y'all silly enough to not understand that the black vote is the most powerful vote in the world right now, then you crazy. Everybody pandering for us. Why you think he's putting so much effort on trying to communicate to black people? Why you think it's so much effort to put black people in the crowd outside at his at the White House at his speech? Why do you think he's putting so much effort into trying to make you believe he's for you? Because he wants you to vote for him. That's politics. That's what you do. He's a winner. He wants to win. Now, on the other hand, Joe Biden is a documented racist. Documented. Way back. Long time ago. He's been in politics for 47 years. I can't look over too much of nothing of his career and say, that's the guy I want right there. I'm riding with him. I can't. And I'm not going to lie to nobody like I can't. I'm not a fool. I'm not somebody's pundit. I'm not just voting Democrat just because I'm black. Like, that's not me. I'm going to vote for the person that I think is going to do the best job to keep the economy stable. I'm going to vote for the person that I think is going to do the best, because y'all can sit around and pretend all day that it ain't about money, but it is. Like, I want a stable economy. I don't want everything for free. That's what I don't like about the Democrats. And that's the same thing I'm saying right now. It's time for us to get off every plantation that exists. I don't like nobody that tries to keep giving me free stuff so they can think I'm going to do something for it. Because I'm going to tell you what the real is. On the real, we the Democrat shooters. They know they can keep us on deck. When anything they want to endorse, that they want to push, anything that they need some steam parties. Like, how two people going to think for millions of people anyway? Like, come on, man. Like, make this make sense to me. When y'all want to get free for real, let's get free for real. But for now, I'm talking about the church. Like, y'all can't tell me, man, y'all can't tell me some of this stuff ain't racist you see happening with evangelicals and they don't speak up about nothing. And I'm talking for experience. From experience. I'd have been on the phone with a white Christian PD from a Christian radio station that told me they won't play my records. Is the video going now? Is it going? Is it going? Back up. Okay. I'd have been on the phone with a white PD that set up and told me they don't play my records because my records sound too ghetto. They told me they play other artists because they're trying to reach a white crowd. That's Christian radio. Christian. I'd have been on the phone with a... It's time for us as black people to step back from everything and begin to create our own everything. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Wholehearted. Anybody take offense to that, that's your problem. I mean that wholehearted. Like, there's no reason that as a black man, I have to leave my community, leave my culture, and go to a whole nother place or a whole nother culture. Am I froze again? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. It's my phone keep ringing. Hold on. I put it on Do Not Disturb. Let me know if it's working now. Oh, we good? We good? We good? So there's no reason, all right, as a black man, that I have to leave my whole culture. I have to leave everything that I believe in order to go somewhere just to worship God. If that's my choice, then that's something I could choose to do. If I say I want to go over here and go to this church that's predominantly white because I want to help with the process of XYZ, amen. Praise God. Hallelujah. That's your choice. I want you to do it, right? But I shouldn't be forced to do that. And I'm going to tell y'all something else. For years, people don't talk about it and people haven't said nothing. And I'm going to tell you why people don't talk about it and say nothing, especially artists, black artists especially. Black artists don't talk about this kind of stuff because the predominant people that support the music and the predominant people that support what they're doing when it comes to speaking at conferences, going on tours and doing all that, they're white. But this is something that we've been on was a problem for years. This is stuff that I've been talking about for years. And guess what? They make an example out of you. You know how many times a kid then got on my post and said, one white kid got on my post and said, Thi'sl, stop talking about that stuff. We like you. You're one of the good blacks. One of the good blacks? What does that even mean? Y'all know I said something. But what does that even mean? Like, we've seen this happening for years and nobody's willing to say nothing. Nobody says nothing about it. Well, that's over with. That's dead. Like, it's time for an exodus. Like, it's time. If you can't accept me for who I am and I ain't good enough for you the way that I am, my culture not good enough for you, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of it. And if you accept that, then you shouldn't even have nothing to say. Why? If I'm talking and you agree with what I'm saying, why do you have to jump in the convo just for the sake of arguing? Like, sit back and pray. Sit back and be quiet. This is the thing. Listen. Racism has existed for as long as it has in America because of white people. It's going to take white people to correct racism, not black people. Racism is an issue of white America. It affects everybody else of every other ethnicity. But the origin of its problem is with white people. White people are going to have to correct racism, not black people. That's not a black people issue. Racism is not laid in the hands of black people like her. Y'all do away with it. Y'all fix it. The reason racism continues to thrive and perpetuate in the world is because of white people. When you go on a post and you see George Floyd, I don't care if George Floyd had just snorted a gram of fentanyl. I don't care if he just had came out of a store and robbed the store. When you look at a video of a person that murdered him, your argument instantly goes against the people that are saying this isn't right. You are a part of the problem. You might not be racist, but you're a bigot. You might not be racist, but you have a bias for some reason, whether it's against black people. It keep freezing me, and I see y'all clear as day. I see y'all clear as day. All right, we good. If you could sit back and watch something that happened to George Floyd, and you turn around and all you could do is argue with the people that are saying it's wrong and argue with the people that are trying to speak up against it, you have a problem. You're a bigot. You might not be a racist, but you're a bigot. You have a bias. That's for you to figure out. That's not for me to figure out. It's not my job to go inside of your body to make you figure out why you have an issue with black people. Let's just be real, America. Like, let's be real about the world. Like, the world that we live in for years and years, hundreds of years, black people have been considered less than people that are white. Like, you might not think that way, you might not feel that, but the majority of people do. And you crazy if you think they don't. You want to see how racist people is? Go on your local news post when a situation happened and look at the comments. They done got hip now. Somebody told me the other day that the avatar, putting your fake avatar up, is the new KKK hood. They done got hip. They don't put their pictures up no more. They take the pictures down. They take their work addresses off. They take all of that down so they can post anonymously and say whatever they want to and say it racist. It's time to exit, man. Like, I don't want to come and learn contemporary music if I don't want to. Like, I don't want to. And I'm going to tell y'all something else. And I'm speaking facts. I'm talking stuff from personal experience. This wasn't no by chance mishap or anything. Like, I've watched people for years in an underlining way try to convince us that the black church was no good for us, and I've watched people say it out loud. So this ain't nothing that we making up. This ain't nothing that we just coming on here saying that this ain't no hyper sensationalized critical racial theory. You know, y'all come up with y'all new words and y'all put a stamp on it, then you feed it to your flock, and then they take it and they run with it, and then they come on my post. You're sounding like you're enforcing a critical racial theory. You don't even know what that is. What I sound like is I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. I want it to be blatant. That's one of the things I love about Donald Trump. I'd rather have a loud enemy than a fake ally. I'd rather you tell me you don't like me to my face than you go behind my back and pretend like you like me. Because everybody running around here saying they your ally, they ain't your ally. I don't even want no allies. Allies can change side. The war get too heavy, allies gonna switch side and they gonna go to where it's comfortable at. The war get too heavy, people start dying, allies gonna run off and leave you. I don't want no allies. I want brothers and sisters. People that's gonna stand beside me and that's gonna stand there flat foot and they ain't gonna waver because they mama, sister, granddaddy, cousins, and all of them people telling them you've been listening to them black people too long. They done convinced you woke now and you need to get yourself together. Like, y'all think, like, first of all, people been saying woke for 40 years. Like, stay woke, my brother. People been saying that for years. Like, this ain't nothing new to us. Like, police brutality ain't nothing new to us. Police killed one of my friends when I was 13. Killed another one when I was 16. We talking years ago. This ain't no new demo. This ain't nothing that just started happening. This is our real life existence. And when y'all dismiss it and come on here on these posts and act like what we feel and what we think is not valid, like, it is infuriating. That's why I say it's time for us to go. Y'all didn't want us there anyway. Let's just be 100. See, I say what I want to. They've been took me off the conferences, the flyers. They've been stopped listening to my music. They've been told me that. People been telling me that since 2012. I've been saying this stuff for years. Like, people been telling me, we don't listen to you no more. We were going to bring you here, but we found out you were an activist. We were going to tell you that. Man, whatever. Because you guess what? When I lay down at night, I lay down at night with a clear conscience. My conscience is clear. I'm not selling out my people for no money. I ain't selling out my people for an opportunity to get on the stage and entertain you or nobody else. That go for black people or white people. It don't matter, because it's the same thing. Like, it's the same thing. Like, but it's time for us to exit. It's time for us to stop letting people make us believe that everything in black culture is ignorant and evil. Folks can't even go in church and clap and raise their hands and make noise because they want to, because y'all run around talking about, oh, that's demonic. That came from Africa. Man, everything from Africa ain't evil. If everything in Africa evil, why they been over there taking our stuff all this time and still over there trying to take our stuff? If everything evil. If everything evil, if our culture so bad, why everybody want to look like us? Why people going to get skin tan and lip injections and butts and curves trying to look like black women? If everything we do is evil and everything we do is not worth nothing, then why is everybody trying to be like us and pander to us and try to get us? Everybody see it except for us. It's time to do an exodus, and it's time for us to work on ourselves. We need to get self-accountability. We need to get our own communities in check. We need to get a lock on small government first. Neighborhood, local neighborhood. I'm talking about immediate. The people around the block on you. We need accountability. We need local neighborhood accountability. Then we need citywide accountability. Then we need statewide accountability. And then we can worry about regional and we can worry about federal. But until we get accountability inside our own homes and inside of our own neighborhood and inside of our own city, nobody gonna respect us and nobody gonna take us serious. And when people say stuff like black lives only matter when it's white people doing it, we can argue, we can fuss, we can get mad, we can do all that we want to, but at the end of the day, it's the truth. And if black lives really matter, we're going to have to hold ourselves accountable, man. We're going to have to. We're going to have to hold ourselves accountable. We're going to have to hold ourselves accountable. We need all of the above. And they said it froze again. I'm going to say this. We need local accountability first. We need to get our house in order. Then we need to get our community in order. Then we need to get our city in order. Then we need to get regional in order. Why aren't we doing more stuff right now? We always talk about Black Wall Street, Black Wall Street. Why we ain't doing stuff like Freedom, Georgia? Going to buy 90 acres as a collective. Create your own space, your own town, your own local government, your own schools. And people think that sounds so extreme, but it's not. Because if I cannot function inside of your space and be who God intended for me to be, guess what? I need my own space. That's not saying I hate you. That ain't saying I don't want you to come visit my house. That's like me leaving my mama home. If I live with my mama and me and my mama don't get along and I go somewhere and move back over here and do this because I don't want to live by my mama, that don't mean I hate her. That means I need my own space to continue growing. Mama, you can come visit, but you got to go back home. The time for us of being somebody else's children is dead. It's dead. I'm telling y'all, I'm done explaining myself. I'm not explaining nothing to nobody because everybody knows the facts. Everybody know the facts. Everybody that live in this world, if you cannot look around the world and see the issues that are going on, you're blind. And you need to ask God to remove the veil from your eyes. It's not my job to play God for you. I'm done explaining myself. Now, if you want to learn and you want to come be taught, that's a whole nother story. But if you come to me combative and you just think I'm finna explain myself to you, that's a whole nother form of what you think you're superior. You think you have such a superior space over me that I owe you an explanation. I don't owe nobody nothing. I'm done. I'm not explaining myself to you. I'm talking to the tribe. I'm talking to the people that understand what I'm saying. I'm talking more. I'm like my time is going to be spent teaching black people how to be accountable, teaching black people how to thrive, teaching black people how to build, teaching black people how to have a full overall holistic idea of who we are. Like, I'm not finna sit and waste my time explaining to you something because I want you to put me on the show or I want you to bring me out to a conference. I throw my own conference. God already built the table. God, that's the thing. Any Christian artist that's on here watching this, black, white, if you're an artist in general, you're not Christian or whatever, you have to get to the place that you understand that God builds the table. Like, can't nobody give you a space that God don't want you to have, and can't nobody take nothing away from you that God is giving you as yours. But y'all ain't gonna let me talk on the conference? It's more people watching me right now on the live. I don't care about your conference. I don't care about coming to rap. I don't care about none of that stuff if it's done from a place that's trying to control me. If we doing genuine fellowship and it's genuine love and you believe what's happening and you want to support, let's get it popping. I'm there. The artists, quit letting people dictate you because you think they got control over your pockets. I told people years ago, I said, I'd rather work at rallies first. I said this 5-6 years ago. I said, I'd rather work at rallies before I let somebody control what I'm going to say or control the way that I'm going to think. I'd rather work at rallies. I'd be a happy guy working at rallies. It's not going to happen. But it's time for an exodus. It's time for us to exit that whole mind state. It's time for us to even exit that mind state that we believe that I need the approval. Like, we put the high state, like, we've been indoctrinated as a culture. Like, black people have been indoctrinated to believe that the highest form of approval is when I get in the room with white people. That's our highest form of approval. When I get in the room with white people, I done made it. I made it. This it. This the level. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not. That's not. That's not the highest level of approval. The highest level of approval is the approval from God. God is not a respecter of person. There is neither male nor female, Jew nor Greek, bond nor free. We're all one in Christ Jesus. It's either that, it's either we're one in Christ Jesus or you my enemy. Now, the reality is, as my enemy, you still get a benefit because I pray for my enemies and I don't pray on them. We don't want revenge. I don't want revenge. And if you black and that's what you want, revenge, you need to check that in your own heart. We don't want revenge. I don't want revenge. I want liberation. I want to be free. I don't want to sit around and have to worry about if I speak up for my culture or I speak up for my people, you're going to cut my water off. That ain't freedom. That's slavery. That's slavery. And that's something I'm not going for. I'm not going for it. I'm not. I'm telling y'all. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? Like, when y'all want to get free for real, let's get free. Let's build some schools. Like, you send your kid, call me what y'all want to. You send your kids to get fully educated by somebody that's gonna tell them something that ain't true. Y'all send y'all kids I'm going to say we, but I talk to my kids outside. We send our kids to learn history from somebody that's rewriting history books to say that slaves were immigrants. Do you know an immigrant willingly comes somewhere? They're rewriting history books to say slaves were immigrants that came to America for a better opportunity. That's not true. Now, we don't want to get hung up on slavery. And I'm going to tell y'all something else. As black people, it's time for us to move forward because some of the battles that we're trying to fight, our ancestors have already won. But that's because some of us want revenge. We don't want liberation. We don't want reconciliation. We want revenge. We fighting some of the battles that we trying to fight our ancestors then already won. They already won that. They fought that battle already. They already made it past that point. They already set us in motion to fight another battle. The battle that we need to be fighting right now is structure amongst ourselves. Because what black people truly need and want, we're not going to get it from white people. White people aren't going to give us what we truly need and want. What we truly need and want is going to have to come from our community, amongst us. It's going to come from us. That's where it's going to come from. White people don't even have the power to give us what we want and what we need. Only person got that is God. That's it. Now, do we hold people accountable? Yes. Yes. We hold people accountable. But some of the fights that we're trying to fight right now, our ancestors had already won that. They won that battle already. I'm all for protesting and marching. All for it. Protest peacefully, march peacefully, boycott. I'm all for it. Like, I'm with it. Let's get it popping. But when we get I'm going to tell you what we haven't done as a collective. When we get done marching, because that's the blueprint that's been laid out for us from the people in front of us. They laid a good blueprint. So we follow that. When it's time to get something done, we go and say, all right, this is what we need to do. We protest, we march, we fight. Yes, that is what we should do. But when we get done protesting, marching, and fighting, guess what? We leave from there, we come back, and we wait till something else happen, and then we do the same thing over again. One of the reasons we haven't saw the change that we want to see or what we need to see is because we as a collective don't leave that space and go back and work on us as black people. That's where the problem happens. We need to work on structure. I was in Israel and I was talking to a group of young Jewish dudes. I always say Jewish like that because I didn't see no black Jews over there. The Bible makes it clear that there were black Jews. So that's a whole nother story. I ain't even gonna get started on that. I'm not gonna get started on that. I'm gonna stick to my point I was finna make. We sat down and started talking, and one of them said, as black people, he said, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah, I love a good convo. He said, why? He said, we have a core set of beliefs that we stand by. Core set. We don't have a set of core values. Somebody asked me the other day, what is my sister, Rocky? She said she's been examining what are her core values as a person. And it rocked me. I sat there and I was like, I always think about this as a collective since this convo. But even as an individual, what are my core values? As a community, we don't have core values that we even teach our children from the jump. We don't have core values. We don't have nothing that we instill in them. We don't have, and that's something we should have been thought about. What are our core values? Faith, education, financial empowerment. Like, what are our core values? What are the things that I'm going to teach my children so that the older they get, they have this inside of them? And not only am I going to teach them so they have it, but I'm going to teach them so they can deliver it to other people. What are our core values? What is it that we want? What do we want? Because we can yell and say we want freedom, but freedom comes from self. We saw that with the slaves. They got set free from plantations and they went back because they didn't feel free. They didn't feel free because they didn't know how to live and work on their own. There weren't opportunities and space for them. There was nowhere for them to thrive. So they say, I'm going to go back because being a slave feels more free than this. And that's the chain we need to break. If you got to struggle and you got to suffer and you got to go through something for a little while, you got to teach your children that Christmas is Christmas and I might not be able to get you no gifts so we can save this money that we was going to spend. If you got to cut back on the shoes, if you got to cut back on what kind of car you drive, if you got to cut back on where you live, if you have to cut back on some of your trips, if you have to cut back on whatever it is that you're doing in order to teach our kids to say, look, let's grow and build, because if you don't, we'll forever ever be dependent on white people. And I'm going to say it just like that. White people in the government. And I ain't talking about the good white people. You should have good white friends that you could depend on and you could count on. That ain't even worth saying. I shouldn't even have to say that. But we've been put in a situation to the point that black people always need somebody. And 9 times out of 10, the people we need know that, and they keep us in that space so that they can forever have that chain on you. Ain't no way we should have been all sitting around waiting on the president to send us $1,200. No way. No way we should be all sitting around waiting on that. Antifa and BLM have been rioting and protesting protesting with the destruction of the nuclear family. This is confusing, and what blueprint are we using because it's not MLK's? First of all, let me tell you what Martin Luther King said about the government and white people. See, people love to quote Martin Luther King, "I had a dream" speech. Let me tell you what Martin Luther King has said about the government and white people before he died. He said, "I have been lied to. I have led my people into a burning building." Martin Luther King died. That building collapsed on top of us and burnt us up. So don't quote Martin Luther King to me because I know Martin Luther King very well. Now, the person that I wish you would have quoted to me was Nat Turner, the person that went and read the scriptures and figured out from reading the scriptures that God did not give the scriptures to black men to be further taught to be enslaved, but in order to be liberated. Nat Turner is that person. Don't come on here talking to me about BLM or Antifa. You've never once in your life seen me quote Black Lives Matter. You've never once in your life seen me say anything about Antifa. Antifa, from what I know about it, is a terrorist organization, just like all of the white supremacist terrorist organizations that we know. So here you are again, a person that is coming on here trying to use the Bible and trying to use Martin Luther King to further indoctrinate a black man to be somebody that is going to kneel down and bow to you, but this is not the black man. I'm done with Martin Luther King. I am Nat Turner. So if you want to talk about some real issues, let's talk about real issues, because everything that I just said made sense. And you want to try to come on here and confuse people because you have been drinking the Kool-Aid and fed the narrative by the cult extreme right-wing Republicans and the cult extreme right-wing evangelicals to make you believe that any fight that is against America and against the government is wrong. And that is a lie. There is no theocratic government. Do you know what that means, my brother? A theocratic government is a government that is solely ruled by God, under God's rule, under God's direction. There has not been a theocratic government since the ancient days of Israel, the biblical days. America is not a theocratic government. America is more like Babylon than it is like Israel. If we see what the Bible says to be true, America is standing under the wrath of God's cup, waiting on the day to be judged for all of the bloodshed, evil, and wicked that it has been issuing out to the rest of the world. Anything else you need me to help you understand, let me know. Back to what I was saying. It's time to get liberated. We don't need no Antifa don't talk for me. I didn't need blacklivesmatter.com to tell me Black Lives Matter. I didn't need President Obama to give me hope. I had hope since I was a little child. I had hope because my uncle moved off a plantation in the 70s and went and started working at General Motors and then owned a construction company as a black man driving around St. Louis in a Cadillac in the 70s. And he bought a 6-family flat apartment building and moved his entire family off a plantation and out of Mississippi so we can have a better opportunity. I've been had hope. I've been woke, as y'all say, and I've been knew the issues that America had because my grandmother was my first teacher. My grandmother taught me about Jesus. My grandmother taught me about the issues of America. My grandmother taught me. What you talking about? Listen, cuz, it's time to get free. It's time to get free. As I said, we need self-accountability as a community. I'm going to tell y'all 3 things we need to do. We need self-accountability as a community. Black people, we need to pull back and we need to focus on our own. We need to focus on ourselves. That's not separation. That's not ignorant. Don't let nobody make you believe that. We need to focus on the development and the growth of the black community. Everybody does it. The Jewish community does it intentionally. They all move to neighborhoods on purpose to circulate the dollar. That's one of the things they told me in Israel. We intentionally come to these places together so we can circulate our dollar, right? Also, on the flip side, you got the Asians do it. The Arabics do it. Everybody focuses on the intent of their people group being stable. We need to focus on ourselves and have self-accountability. We are responsible for cleaning up our own neighborhoods. We are responsible for getting the crime down in our neighborhoods. That's one thing we need, self-accountability. Another thing we need to do as black people, I'm going to say this on video. I've been wanting to post it for so long, but I'm going to say it on video so people can't make up nothing else, right? Black people, we need to start having so many kids. I got kids, a lot, from when I was a child. We need to teach our young boys to stop having so many children. We need to stop our young girls from having so many children at a young age. Because when you have 3 kids by the time you're 18 or 21, it's going to make it so hard for you to climb out of a hole on your own. As a parent, if you have one child, it's a lot easier for you to focus. Some people still have it hard. We need to get that under control in our community. Another thing we need to do is we need to come up with a core system of what we believe and what we're going to teach our children. Faith being the center of it all. We need to have some ideas and mindsets that are going to root us to help us grow and flourish the way that we need to flourish. Somebody said, I'm with you, but it is separation. Well, it is what it is. It's separation then. Let's do it. We see it all day long. The rich separate from us every day. We can't go nowhere near where they live at. Rich folks, we can't go where they live. I live in a building right now. You can't even get in unless you talk to the door people. I'm separated from everybody. You can't even come in. You can't even get up to my door. Like we do it, and we see it every day. It's time for us to do it. It's time for us to get an idea that the people that need to fix our problem is us. We are the ones that need to fix our problem. It's us. The results that we want is going to come from the work that we do in the black community on our own. Should we hold everybody else accountable? Yes, we should. The first place we should start, though, is in our own home. Hold everybody in there accountable. Then we move outside, hold everybody else in there accountable. Then we go to the hold everybody else accountable. That's where it started, self-accountability. All the resources and everything that we don't have that never make it to our community, the things that we need to thrive, when we begin to practice a level of accountability that's needed, accountability is going to go across the board. It's going to go with self-accountability. When we talk about our boys and girls not having a bunch of kids, it's going to come with self-accountability. It's going to come with financial accountability. It's going to come with spiritual accountability. It's going to come with everything. When we practice of a level of accountability, the resources, everything that we need, because we got the money. We got the money amongst ourselves collectively. We got it. It's not that we don't have the money. We don't put it in the right place. It's time for us to put it in the right place. I'm going to tell y'all something else, too, before I log off of her. My white brothers and sisters, y'all will never know what it's like to be black in America or black in this world. Some of y'all speak from a place that you pretend in your brain. It's an imagination that you think you know what it's like. You compare it to these different scenarios in your head. You'll never know what it's like to be a black man. You'll never know what it's like. I can't change my skin color. Anything else you need to work on, you could change. You overweight, you can go work out and change that. You broke, you can go get a job and get you some money. You live in a bad neighborhood, you could change that. I'll never be able to change being black. Even when I got money, I was still black. I was still a Negro to some people. Even when I got money, I was in front of my own home. In the neighborhood I used to live in, police pulled on the side of my car and asked me, "What are you doing here?" I said, "That's my house." He said, What are you doing here? I said, that's my house. That man pulled over and sat across the street from me and watched me until my son got his little privileged self off of his bus and came and got in the car with me and we went in the house. But his reason for stopping and asking me what was I doing there, the only reason he had was because I was a black man in a nice car in a nice neighborhood that he felt like I didn't belong in. He didn't stop and ask my white neighbor that was sitting on their front at the same time. They moved in there around the same time I did. He didn't go down the street and ask the kids playing in the street what they were doing out there. The reality is, y'all have no idea what it's like to be black, and you never will have any idea what it's like to be black. Y'all don't got to respond to them. I'm not worried about no little fragile dude calling me no racist. Like that, this ain't the 60s, bro. Like, nobody's scared of you. Nobody's scared of the big boogeyman in a hoodie. Nobody's scared of a militia. I'm not. Like, your little words don't shake nobody. You say stuff like that because you afraid and you fragile. And the reality is, a strong black person intimidates you because you know there's nothing you can do to me. And that's a fact. There's nothing you can do to me at all but type behind your keyboard and be a studio gangster. But black people, it's time for an exodus. It's time to go. It's time to go that way. Stop being in situations where people make you feel like you have to assimilate. You got to cut your dreads off. You got to stop dressing the way you dress. You can't drive your car because it got rims on it. Like, and stop going for that. We done going for that. We done going for that. We done going for that. Like, it's over with. It's over with. So let's keep building. Let's start building. But it's time for us to take accountability for ourselves as black people. And once you take accountability for yourself, once we take accountability for ourselves, watch how the rest of the world begin to change around us. It's time for us to understand the power of our vote. We say that all the time. Every black person on this live, every black person on this live, I challenge you to something. You might not catch it this election, but I challenge you to something. Go find every person in your family that's old enough to vote, 18 and up. Find every person that you can that's old enough to vote and take them out and get them registered to vote. Don't just get them registered to vote, but educate them on the importance of why they should be voting. Don't indoctrinate them into believing that they should be voting Democrat just because they're black. But teach them about real world issues. Teach them about the stuff that's going on and teach them how to make a solid decision for themselves. Offer them the same liberation that I'm telling you you need. That's my challenge. And once you do that, we'll take it a step further the next time. Like, I challenge everybody on here. Let's take accountability for ourselves in our own home. Whatever your life look like, whatever mess it is, like, take advantage of it. If you on here and you can vote, man, everybody you know that's registered to vote, you rally them up and you go vote. Have a voting party. We have parties for everything else. Have a voting party. We going to vote, then we meeting her. We going to vote, then we going to go do this. Have a voting party. But let's take self-accountability for our home. Then we going to worry about our neighborhood and our community. Then we worry about our city. And then we worry about that. But it's time out for us to stop running to people for approval. The only approval that we need is from God. Like, we do not need approval from man to be black and to be free. We don't need that approval. Let's stop trying to refight battles that people have already won for us. Let's look around and honestly say, what are the issues? What are the issues? What are the issues? What are the issues in our community? What are the issues? What do we need to fix amongst ourselves? And let's take the action to do the work that it's going to take to get the job done. That's where we at right now. That's where we at right now. I'm one of them people, I take accountability for my platform. That's why I ain't jumped on here and told y'all to vote for nobody. I'd never do that unless it's me, unless I'm running for some kind of office. I'll tell you to vote for me, but I ain't gonna jump on here and tell you to vote for nobody. I'm gonna tell you to vote, because that's your right. And you have a right to vote for whoever you want to. But at the same time, you have the right to vote for the greater good. So that's what it is. So listen, I'm out. All of y'all are crybabies that's mad, log off, go get you some tissue, wipe your nose, wipe your eyes, pull yourself together. Because if Lord willing, if I have my way in this world, I'm going to create 1,000 more dudes just like me. And they going to create 10,000. And that 10,000 going to create 100,000. And that 100,000 going to create 1,000,000. And 10 years from now, this will not be the world that you're looking at right now. So hate me all you want. But I'm training some men. And we going to change the world. Men and women. God bless y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Share it with your people. Tag people, all of that. But it's time for an exodus. It's time for us to go that way. It's time for us to get in the space that there are plenty of qualified black teachers in this city, in your city, in this country, for you to exist in a space that you don't have to abandon your whole culture and way of life to go and be somewhere else. And stop letting people make you believe that. When we talk about culture, I ain't talking about the sinful things of culture, because every culture has its sinful things that it do. But stop letting people believe that everything about our culture is bad. It's not. It's not bad. Stop letting people make you believe that you have to abandon your culture in order to love God. You don't have to do that. If God calls you to move to another space, you listen to God. If God is not calling you to move to another space, you go and be planted in the space that God planted you in. All right? God bless y'all, man. Go be great.
Perfect.